Hey, this is C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my predictions for Bellator 108, Rampage versus Beltran, which happens on November 15th. Overall, I like this card. You got recognizable names in Joey Beltran and Rampage. A heavyweight title fight with some Russians, Vitaly Minakov and Alexander Volkov. The featherweight tournament final with Patricio Freire and Justin Wilcox. Marcus Galvao returns to Bellator. On the prelims, you have Nah-Shon Burrell, Sam Oropeza, UFC veterans Tom DeBlass and Jason Lambert, McGeary, who I think is a good light heavyweight prospect. So yeah, I like this card. Okay, let's get started. In the main event, we have Joey, the Mexicutioner Beltran versus Quinton Rampage Jackson. Fun fight for sure. Joey Beltran has a 14-9 record with 1 no contest, 11 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by sub. He's 31 years old, trains out of Alliance. He's actually only won 2 of his last 9 fights. I mean, he technically beat Igor Prokrayak, but got a no contest. So he actually hasn't won a fight in a while. He's kind of a brawler. A really strong chin, always pushing forward, really aggressive, really likes to get his opponent up against the cage and start throwing punches. But yeah, he's definitely a guy that forces brawls. Rampage Jackson has a 32-11 record, 14 wins by KO or TKO, 7 wins by sub. He also has 3 losses by KO or TKO and 2 losses by sub. He's 35 years old. 3-fight losing streak to John Jones, Ryan Bader, and Glover Teixeira. He is a former UFC light heavyweight champion. He's got some heavy hands, good boxing, good takedown defense, and a good chin. One of the moves he likes to do is he likes to duck under like hooks and punches, and counter with a left hook. I actually train at Rampage Fitness Academy in his gym here in Mission Viejo. And we have learned that we have practiced that move before as well. Despite all that, even though it's not just because I train, and I see Rampage around the gym a couple times, so I check Congo there too. Despite that, I think he beats Joey Beltran. I think he's the better boxer. Kind of has the more proven, heavier hands. You know, I mean, Beltran's record is 11 KOs or TKOs and out of 14 wins. But he's not like a one-punch knockout guy. He's a guy that kind of wears a guy down. And yeah, you know, I don't think Beltran will go for too many takedowns, and even if he does, or any takedowns, Rampage has good takedown defense. Yeah, I gotta go with Jackson here. It's just, I think Beltran will make it a tougher fight than, he could make it a tougher fight than expected, but you never know. Or maybe we'll see a vintage Rampage performance, you know. But yeah, Quinton Rampage Jackson for the win. Okay, next right after that, for the Bellator heavyweight title, we got Alexander Drago Volkov versus Vitaly Minakov. Volkov has a 19-3 record, 14 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by sub. He also has 2 losses by sub. He's 25 years old on a 10-fight win streak. Trains out of Rust Fighters with like Alexander Shlemenko. His strong kickboxing, really high output of strikes, but his grappling, against like Vinicius Krarov's, his grappling looks pretty weak. He was taken down pretty easily, and he didn't seem to have much game off his back. Vitaly Minakov is 12-0, undefeated, 7 wins by KO or TKO, 4 wins by sub. He's only been to decision once in his career. He's 28 years old, trains out of Fight Night's team. Another Notable name that trains out there is Ali Bagautinov. He's a good kickboxer, knocked out like Ron Sparks. He's got some heavy hands. He also beat Ryan Martinez with the ground and pound. And he has a sambo background with good takedowns. Credit to Bellator here for actually finding some quality heavyweights. Russia, Dagestan, definitely there's a lot of untapped resources that you even see like the UFC is starting to pick up a lot of fighters from that area as well. Bellator also has Blackout Ivanov as well. They make the 3 OBS. So yeah, these guys are some actually pretty good heavyweights outside the UFC. I gotta go. You know what? I think we're gonna see a new heavyweight champion. I gotta go with Vitaly Minakov here. I mean, on the feet, I'd favor Volkov, especially with his output and whatnot and volume. I'd argue that Minakov hits harder. One thing about Minakov, though, I mean, if things get hairy on the feet, he can always take the fight to the ground and use his sambo skills and to get those takedowns and whatnot. I think Minakov's just shown a little more versatility as far as he doesn't like. Volkov is primarily a striker, whereas Minakov, he can take fights to the ground or he can strike. So with that versatility in mind, I think Vitaly Minakov wins this one. Okay, next fight after that, Patricio Pitbull Freire fights Justin Wilcox. It's for the Season 9 Featherweight Tournament Final. Justin Wilcox has a 13-5 record with 1 no contest, 2 wins by KO TKO, 2 wins by sub. That's his 2 losses by KO TKO and 2 losses by sub. He's 34 years old on a 2-fight win streak. One of those wins was against Akop Stepanyan in a fight he was clearly losing. Managed to take his back and choke him out. And just had a really good come-from-behind victory. And against Joe Tominglo, he utilizes wrestling really well. He trains out of AKA. He's big for 145. I mean, he wasn't even small for 155. He's a strong wrestler with good top control. Striking, it's good. I'd say it's more average. Serviceable striking. Patricio Pitbull has a 20-2 record. 8 wins by KO TKO, 7 wins by sub. He's 26 years old on a 3-fight win streak. Trains out of Team Nogueira. He's got some heavy hands, and he has some very accurate striking. You can actually see that against Jared Downing. I mean, they got like every punch seems to have connected. He's got some strong Muay Thai. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is really underrated. It's actually really good. And his offensive wrestling isn't that bad. You can actually watch his fights against Fabricio Guerrero, which is the fight before this, and against current featherweight champion Daniel Strauss. He's using a lot of offensive wrestling in that fight. And he's shown to have good takedown defense as well. With all that said, yeah, I gotta go with Patricio Pitbull to win this one. And, it's gonna be really interesting. With featherweight, it's Bellator's like deepest division. I mean, unless they go with Daniel Strauss versus Pat Curran again, Daniel Strauss gets Frodo Hospolaev. And he gets Frodo Hospolaev, and the winner of that would get Patricio Pitbull. I mean, you can actually see that belt change hands a lot, potentially. So it's going to be really interesting to see who wins this one. But yeah, I got to go with Pitbull. And finally, Marcus Galvao fights Tom McKenna. McKenna has a 7-3 record, 6 wins by sub, 1 win by decision. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO, and he's trading wins and losses. Little story about the trading wins and losses, though. I think it's like within 4 or 5 fights he's trading wins and losses right now. And the wins, I know 2 of them at least, are in the SFL. And quite honestly, I love watching Super Fight League. They have the funniest song. I like watching Super Fight League, but the fighters aren't that good. So it's like no surprise to see him get wins there. He does have some good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills though. But so does Marcus Galvao. 14-6 record with 1 draw. 3 wins by KO TKO, 11 wins by decision. He also has 3 losses by KO TKO. Not too long ago, he lost to Bellator champ Eduardo Dudu Dantas by knockout. He's 32 years old, training out of Nova União. He does have some good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu himself. His takedown defense is solid. And his striking's not bad either. He knocked out Luis Nogueira. And it showed some pretty good striking, actually. I gotta go with Marcus Galvao to win this one. Get on to the prelims. Nah-Shon Burrell fights Jesus Martinez. Martinez has an 8-4 record. 3 wins by KO TKO, 2 wins by sub. He also has 4 losses by KO TKO, and he's 29 years old. Nah-Shon Burrell, is a UFC veteran and Strikeforce veteran. I think he's a pretty good pickup for Bellator, to be honest with you. 10-3 record, 6 wins by KO TKO, 4 wins by decision. He's only 23 years old. He's trading wins and losses right now. But the guy's like pretty. I mean, a lot of people will use the word athletic with this guy, but like it's really true in a sense. I mean, this is a guy who like gets mounted and almost like he does like a sit up to get up, or like when his back is taken. I mean, he can almost like immediately stand up back to his feet. I mean, just with sheer like power and athleticism, you know. He does have some solid stand up as well. I mean, he didn't really show it against Stephen Thompson. He's fighting kind of dumb against him, actually. But otherwise, he's a good prospect, and I got to go with Nah-Shon Burrell to win this one. Okay, next fight that Chip Moraza-Pollard fights Sam Oropeza. Oropeza has a 9-2 record, 3 wins by KO TKO, 6 wins by sub. Also has 2 losses by sub. 28 years old on a 4-fight win streak. Trains out of Philadelphia Fight Factory. Other guys that train there would be Zach Makovsky. He's never been to decision. He is a finisher. Got some solid Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. Stand-up's not bad either. Chip Moraza-Pollard, 7-5 record. 4 wins by KO TKO, 3 wins by decision. Gotta go Sam Oropeza to win this one. Okay, next one after that, DeBlass fights Jason Lambert. Both guys are UFC veterans. DeBlass has an 8-2 record, 3 wins by KO TKO, 2 wins by sub. He's 31 years old. Trains at Ricardo Almeida Jiu-Jitsu. Another notable fighter trains out of there would be Frankie Edgar. He's a UFC veteran with good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. Lambert, 26-12 record, 3 wins by KO TKO, 9 wins by sub. He also has 6 losses by KO TKO and 3 losses by sub. He's 36 years old, training out of Alliance. Really experienced guy. This guy's fought like Babalu, Rashad Evans, you name it, he's fought him, you know. He's got some good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills and good striking. It's tough for me to say who's going to win this one. Lambert does have some wear and tear on his body. I feel that DeBlass will be able to get the fight to the ground and utilize his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I'll go with DeBlass to win this one. Okay, next fight after that, Will Martinez fights Kevin Roddy. Kevin Roddy has a 13-14 record. He has 1 draw and 1 no contest. He has 11 wins by sub, 2 wins by decision. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO and 4 losses by sub on a 3-fight win streak. Training out of Pellegrino MMA. Others that train there would be, of course, Kurt Pellegrino and Liam McGeary. He's got some good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills, as 11 of his 13 wins are by sub. Will Martinez, a 7-2 record with 1 draw, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 4 wins by sub. He has 2 losses by sub as well. 33 years old on a 6-fight win streak, never been to decision. He is a finisher. Well, actually, he has a draw, so that's not correct. In his wins and losses, he's never been in decision. I'll go with Will Martinez to win this one. Okay, next fight after that, we have McGeary versus Najim Wali. This fight's kind of strangely put together, just because Najim Wali has no pro MMA fights, and from what I can tell, has no amateur fights either. McGeary is a pretty solid Bellator light heavyweight prospect. He's 5-0, undefeated. 3 wins by KO TKO, 2 wins by sub, and the guy is 6'6". He's really tall, training at a Pellegrino MMA. He is a finisher with no decisions. Never went to decision. Some solid stand-up. I think his 2 submission wins, too, are by armbar. Gotta go with McGeary to win this one. And if Bellator has another light heavyweight tournament, I'd like to see him in it. Him and Brandon Halsey actually are good Bellator light heavyweight prospects. And outside the UFC, it is hard to find light heavyweight and heavyweight prospects. Okay, next fight after that. Kenny Foster fights Anthony Morrison. Morrison has a 17-10 record with 1 no contest, 9 wins by KO TKO, 4 wins by sub. He also has 3 losses by KO TKO and 7 losses by sub. He's 29 years old, and he last fought in February 2012. Notable guys he's fought and lost to are in the WC against Mike Thomas Brown and Chad Mendes. Kenny Foster has a 10-7 record, 1 win by TKO, 5 wins by sub. He also has 4 losses by submission. He trains at the Team Bomb Squad. Other guys that train at a Bomb Squad would be like Desmond Green from Bellator. And actually, John Jones used to train in Team Bomb Squad as well. He's actually only won 3 of his last 9 fights. Good wrestler. I'll go with the guy that doesn't have the huge layoff. I'll go with Kenny Foster to win this one. Okay, next fight after that, Ryan Cafaro fights Dan Matala. Both of these guys have no pro MMA bouts, so I'll just talk about their amateur records. Cafaro has a 5-2 amateur record with 2 wins by sub, 3 wins by decision as an amateur, and he's on a 5-fight win streak as an amateur. Okay, Dan Matala, 5-2 amateur record, 1 win by TKO, 1 win by sub. He's on a 2-fight win streak as an amateur, and he trains out of Dadis Fight Camp. Another notable guy that trains out of that camp would be Alexander Bezeha. I'll go with Dan Matala to win this one. And finally, Sergio De Silva fights Rob Sullivan. Don't know anything about these guys. Rob Sullivan has a 2-1 record with both wins by decision. Sergio De Silva has a 1-4 record, 1 win by decision. He's 27 years old. Usually don't pick the guy with a losing record, but it's such a pick'em fight for me. I'm just picking a name, Sergio De Silva for the win. Okay, to recap, I have Quinton Rampage Jackson over Joey Beltran. Vitaly Minakov beating Alexander Volkov to be the new Bellator heavyweight champion. I have Patricio Pitbull Freire beating Justin Wilcox to win the Season 9 featherweight tournament final. And Marcus Galvao over Tom McKenna. On the prelims, I got Nah-Shon Burrell over Jesus Martinez. San Oropeza over Chip Moraza-Pollard. Tom DeBlass beating Jason Lambert. Will Martinez beating Kevin Roddy. Liam McGeary over Najim Wali. Kenny Foster beating Anthony Morrison. Dan Matala beating Ryan Cafaro. And Sergio De Silva over Rob Sullivan. So that's it for my predictions for Bellator 108. If you have any comments, just leave them below. And that's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.